out of 100% money wey dem thief for Nigeria, over 80% are not an thief am. I can prove it to you anytime you are ready. Some other people from other regions, they no fit get courage to thief money for government without a northerner. Now they go give them say go, because an average person believes say government money, if you carry and no be thief, you thief. Make I talk am the way it be, so that if adjustment go happen, make it happen.
Fellow Biafrans, my name is Biafra Superstars Media. Today, I wish to present to you a man I love, a man I appreciate, a man who got my ear in that Zoo Republic. Today we are hearing that those in the north, the northern elders, they are ready to discuss the so-called amendment of the 1999 constitution of that zoo. It's too late, buddy. We say it's too late. But today, our brother, Biafra Superstars Media, will be speaking to this gentleman who was there as a child during the time of the Biafran War, the one and only Biafran golden child. He will be here to tell us, give us a pulse of what is happening in that zoo. Sometimes it's good to have your ears closer to the walls to know the actions and inactions of that damnable Zoo Republic. Now they are crying that they want to discuss the amendment of their so-called constitution. I say it is too late, because with the Biafrans, the days of dialoguing is gone. You had a chance, but what you did in response was to go all the way to Kenya to kidnap our leader Nnamdi Kanu. So the doors of dialogue is closed. Our PM has told you as well. Our PM, Simon Ekpa, mentioned that the doors of dialogue is closed. Lord have mercy. Without any much further ado, I want us to hear the perspective of our good brother, the Biafran golden child. Let him let us know what is happening in that Zoo Republic when it comes to this new rumor, the last throw of the die, the new game by the Caliphate, to find a way to cajole the Biafrans for us to believe that they are ready to discuss the so-called change of constitution. They assume that's the problem of the Biafrans. What a shame. My fellow Biafrans, people all across the world, without any much further ado, I present to you the Biafran golden child, the real Biafran golden child. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending, of course, from where you're hearing my voice from. Yes, of course, the Biafra golden child, always super happy to, be able to converse with my people from time to time. So welcome, Biafrans. It's good to have you on board. It's been a while, and within this time, a lot is trending in Nigeria. Nigeria, in recent times, you never have a dull moment. Every moment seems to count, because a lot of stories, a lot of situations, a lot of encounters, and a lot of, heart-wrenching stories of hunger and poverty and corruption at the highest level within the country. Every other day, if you're not hearing about, fuel hike, no fuel, You know, we're not hearing about some corrupt leader packing so much money or diverting so much money for their private use rather than for the use of the majority of Nigerians. I mean, the sleaze is everywhere. The corruption is massive, beyond every reasonable imagination. Things have escalated to the worst level since this government. It's as if everybody is trying to undo the order. Every politician, every leader, every every person in authority is trying to undo the order in their level of corruption. You know, it's very sad. It's very sad. Also, within this period, since we last spoke to each other, since we last interacted, we have heard where a senator, Senator Ndume, you know, was advocating that you don't kill a man because he's corrupt. You don't sentence him. You don't sentence him to death. I mean, death penalty for somebody who is corrupt is way too much. It's too high. You know, it doesn't add up. Instead, maybe a light sentence. You know, say a light sentence will do. So it's just to tell you the mind of our politicians, to tell you the level of graft and insensitivity of our politicians and leaders. I mean, how can a whole senator come out and say, you know, corruption should not in any way be equated with death penalties? I mean, what is there? How much is after all money that is involved? How much is involved? It's just unfortunate, and I think this has actually encouraged the politicians to steal ever more, because go back in those days, what we used to hear was they stole 1 million, they stole a few thousands, stole 100 million. You know, these days we are hearing not millions anymore. We are hearing billions and trillions. It's like the guys have gone haywire. I mean, I don't know why somebody would want to amass so much wealth. You know, they're thinking of 10 generations after them, which is very unfortunate and wicked of such people. Yeah, a lot has equally happened. I mean, here's the labor, because of the sudden increase in fuel prices. I mean, labor has threatened for strike, saying the government deceived them, said there will be no such thing. The National Association of Nigerian Students have also, you know, indicated interest to go on strike, coming from 15th of this month, 15 days ultimatum. You know, ASU has said their own. Everybody's, even Nigerian Medical Association is on strike. I mean, over their member who was abducted and kidnapped, and even though her husband and son has been released, she has not been released, a medical doctor. It's all unfortunate. A lot of things are trending negatively in this country, and it's very painful. Yeah, but this morning I want to talk briefly about something I found highly, you know, how do I put it? It touched me. It tickled my intellect. It tickled my fancy. I mean, I was highly interested in such development. You know, even though it's coming way too late. Yes. First of all, just a few days ago, I saw a caption about a university lecture, lecture in the Amadou Uthman Danfodio University, at the Uthman Danfodio University at Sokoto. There was a lecture they wanted to have, and they put the topic, the Igbo man, his activities and you know, developments, his activities and developments in the north, the Igbo man's sojourn in the north, and all the ramifications of what he has brought into the north in terms of development efforts, in terms of resource development, in terms of his getting properly and fully acquainted with the cultures of the north. The topic was to be held by a professor, Professor Ahmed Bako. Bako is from the north. The Uthman Danfodio University is organizing a lecture to where the topic will be the Igbo man and his survival instincts and social acculturation in the north. You know, I mean, that first of all, I was intrigued. How can a northern university, for that matter, how can a northern professor, you know, give such a lecture about Igbo men, the Igbos, and their activities in the north? I was wondering where this kind of lecture will take us to. I don't know if it's going to be an intellectual exercise. I don't know whether it will be strictly, academic. And hopefully, I'm hoping that it doesn't acclimatize into untoward happenings that might bring the Igbo man to odium and opprobrium, because we know how it is once it comes to the North and the Igbo. We know how it is when the Northerners talk about the Igbo. The stories are not always very cordial. The relationship is not always very friendly. And the summation of such interactions are usually bereft of the best level of, justice and fair play. So I'm wondering why a Northern professor would, be the one to anchor such a topic in an exclusively Northern university, Utman Danfodio University at Sokoto. It really touched me. It touched me, and I said, well, let's see how it goes. Is Igbo anywhere now and everywhere now? If today they're not asking the Igbo to leave Lagos, go to your state, tomorrow they're telling them you didn't come out for the protest and bad government protest. You didn't come out. You misled other people. If they didn't say that, they'll come outrightly and tell the Igbo that you deceived a lot of us. Some have come out to say they are not Igbo, vociferously and, very aggressively saying they are not Igbos, even though we know they all have Igbo origins. So this kind of topic from a university in the north, especially by a professor from the northern enclave, got me really thinking. I was highly intrigued. Well, let's see how it goes. They say it's going to be, I think it was yesterday, or either this morning or so. So I'm yet to see the full details of that lecture. And I bet you a lot of us Igbos who want to buy it, who want to buy and see what the professor of Northern extraction would have to say about the Igbos, their modus vivendi, their modus operation, or modus operandi, and the general compartmentability and, high level of acculturation by the Igbos. But like I say, we don't judge a book by the cover. Let's see how it goes. I think that the results or the findings of that lecture will be an audio of maybe a future date. Yes, that's for that, Yeah, let's get down to brass tacks. I want to comment briefly this morning about the recent admission by the northern leaders of this country, by the North generally, through their Arewa Consultative Forum. The majority of northern Nigeria came up to say, yes, right now we are ready for a constitutional change. We think it is adamant. I mean, it is apparent now. I think it is extremely needed. It's about time we tinker with our constitution. They came up vividly and clearly to admit that there are a lot of flaws they have discovered, which have been generally discovered in the 1999 constitution. And they said, no, I think we are game for it. We are ready. If everybody wants the constitution tinkered with and, standardized to come in conformity with 2020, 21, 24 reality in Nigeria, they are ready for it. And so my topic this morning is they're not asking for a constitutional review, saying they are ready and they want it today, if it's possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to say this, but I wanted to let us know that it's a very, very clear and clarion call by the North that they are ready for a constitutional amendment to take care of some inadequacies that have been discovered in the 1999 Constitution. Yeah. So forthwith, let me start this way. Over the years, a lot of people have clamored for a change and an amendment in the constitution of this country, especially the 1999 constitution that we are still using today, which was crafted by the military regime. A lot of people have come out, especially the Biafrans, especially, the Igbos and all our brothers, in the southeast, south, in the southwest. We have often come out to say, look, something should be done. This constitution was deliberately crafted and seemed to have been, the constitution seemed to have been deliberately produced to favor certain regions of the country and to make it difficult for certain other regions to make an input. Yes, because a constitution where a lot of powers were given to strictly, the center, at the top, while the regions were put at a subordinate and subjugated position, was not entirely a good thing. Equally, a constitution that required such excessive funding for governance and leadership was found to be, in every aspect, unsuitable for a country like Nigeria that was going through this topsy-turvy political situations, this perpetual strangulated economy, these hardships, this corruption of the highest order, this nepotism, this bigotry, and tribalism that are taking every nook and cranny of this country, and they're threatening to tear us apart. So a lot of people were saying, look, we need to tinker with this constitution. We need to do a lot of touches about it. But all this while everybody was talking about it, all this while the Southwest, the Southeast, the South, and everybody, the majority of Nigerians, were clamoring for a review of this constitution, an amendment of this constitution, and the deliberate policy to, if not completely, abolish the constitution and create a new one, at least to make some meaningful changes. Unfortunately, once again, at that point in time, because they not had most of their people in leadership positions. I mean, they were back to back from Buhari down, Northern, who has served 8 years. All the clamor was high then, but they felt, well, it's our man that was there. It's our brother that was there. It was our kith and kin that was there. And they said, no need for that. No need for constitution, whatever. Now they have seen it. The power has shifted hands down to Mr. Emilokon. Yes, the man who said it's his turn. It has turned hands, it has shifted hands, power has shifted hands, and all of a sudden now they are beginning to feel the pinch of not being in power. They are beginning to see that, yes, for the first time in many years since the independence of this country, the North were now sitting down playing a second fiddle. I mean, their man is still the vice president, whether he has powers or not, or if he was just a toothless bulldog, whatever it is, but he's a vice president. Since independence, the North has produced basically more than 90% of leadership of this country. I mean, starting all back then from Tafa Balewa, who was the prime minister of this country, moved down to Gowon, General Yakubu Gowon, moved down from there to Muritala, moved down from there to, after a little stint by Obasanjo briefly, he moved down to Shehu Shagari, who was eventually toppled by the Buhari administration as a head of state. Eventually, Buhari was toppled. Babangida came in, who stayed for several years, over 8 years. In fact, he wanted to transmit into a military power, into, a civilian president. But of course, it didn't work out. And somehow along the line, he was forced to conduct an election that produced, even though the results were not fully announced to the majority of Nigerians, but it was apparent that MK Abiola was leading in the polls. Unfortunately, once again, that election was truncated, that power shift was denied. And so Abacha took over. They first created an interim government with Shenoke there, but Abacha eventually came up, and Shenoke was there as an interim president. Eventually, Abacha came. Sani Abacha took over Nigeria again for years. It's just unfortunate. If Abacha had not died, in circumstances that eventually equally took the life of MKO Abiola, the leader, so-called leader, winner, quote and unquote, of the annulled election, I think Abacha would still have been there. So, but anyhow, Abacha died, Abiola died, and of course, it became another issue. Who came in again? This time, it was Abdusalam Abubakar, who took over, said he wanted to keep Nigeria calm, he wanted to make sure things went well, and then eventually there will be civilian rule. He's not staying long, and it's going to be a short spell. We want to midwife and fully elected and democratically elected leadership. That was what they told Nigerians. And so Abdul Salam Abubakar was there. Eventually, he midwifed the election that culminated in the election of um, uh, President Olusegun Obasanjo. Obasanjo had it there. The next thing that happened was, of course, Yaradua, who unfortunately died, within before he could complete his tenure. He was sick and couldn't make it. After Yaradua, of course, it went to Jonathan, who was his vice president. The North didn't spare Jonathan. Less than just completing a tenure with the Yaradua tenure and part of Yaradua tenure and his first 4 years, they of course threw him out and brought in, Buhari once again as now formerly a head of state, but now a presidential civilian head president. So unfortunately, again, of course, Buhari played it back to back, 4 years, 8 years. His full term was assured. The North were excited and exhilarated because their people have been coming back and forth. It has become a northern presidency for Nigeria since independence. A northern leadership. If they are not the president, they are the vice. If they are not at head of state, they are second in command. But of course, they've been head of state for most of the military regimes. So of course, Buhari left and brought in the man who said is his turn, the Jagaban. And he has come in, and suddenly the North is sweating. Yes, they have been sweating because everybody thought as soon as Buhari stepped aside and the Jagaban came in an election that has been heralded as the worst election Nigeria has ever had. The February 23rd presidential election has been, I think it has gone into world record as the worst, the most abysmal election anybody ever had in this country or even in Africa as a whole. This was an election that should have been something that would have gone into the Guinness Book of Records for all the positive reasons. But what did we get? From nowhere, the election results were truncated, were manipulated. We saw abracadabra. We saw magical scenarios and magical feats coming from the INEC. It's unfortunate. So very, very unfortunate what happened. But of course, the Jagaban is there. Emilio Kon is there. Asuwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu is there. And so they not thought, well, it will be, as usual. He's still our man. Yes, he and our man, our just last leader now, our former president, Buhari, our brother, they are together. They are one. Unfortunately, the man who said it was his turn came in, and what did he do? All it started from day one. Upon inauguration was fuel subsidy is gone. Gone and gone forever. Brace up, Nigerians. Brace up. This time around, you are going to see a whole lot of difference. I'm not going to continue from where Buhari has stopped, but I'm going to instead ameliorate and magnify what the Buhari represents. That language was nebulous. That language was, it seemed to be two-way thing. A lot of people didn't understand it. I mean, what was he saying? Why did he say, I'm going to continue where Buhari has stopped? And equally he said again, well, as it is now, it won't be business as usual. Things have got to change. So they assured you. So Emilio Kon told them. And so when the changes came, the North, the South, the Southeast, the Southwest, everybody's feeling it. The general hunger in the land, the no food, the insecurity that has forced farmers to run from their farmlands. We have not seen the level of insurgents we see in Nigeria. Kidnapping, ransom demands, to the extent that kidnappers are going to schools now to carry children. Kidnappers are going to churches to carry pastors and the laity, including reverend sisters. Kidnappers are going to, what's it called? Even the mosques now picking up emirs and picking up imams. And when they ask for a ransom, you don't pay. Of course, you are sorry. You are deleted. The North has seen that, of course, the yams are no longer available. Bread is not for the poor man anymore. The North have seen that the fuel, it doesn't matter who they voted for, we all buy from the same filling stations. They have seen that the fuel is not affordable to them. I mean, those of them who do achaba, who drive motorcycle everywhere, They can't afford it anymore. They have seen that, of course, things have become haywire. The hunger in the land is palpable. You can almost feel it with your hands. People are dying. People can no longer buy their medical supplies because, of course, things had gone haywire. The dollar has beaten the naira to a standstill. Exchange of naira to dollar has never been this high in the history of Nigeria. So everybody is now crying. And when the Igbo man was saying it way back, when Nnamdi Kanu, our esteemed leader of Biafra, told us, one Nigeria, look, these are the trends. If you don't take care of this country, if you don't review your constitution, if you don't make the necessary amendments and corrections, Nigeria will come to a standstill. Nigeria will fall irreparably, fall irretrievably. Of course, they said he was speaking treason. He was talking balderdash. They made every effort. Eventually, they arrested him. In fact, kidnapped him, so to speak, from Kenya down to Nigeria. And ever since then, there have been trumped-up charges upon trumped-up charges. They don't want to release him. When the Biafran people came out and said, look, release this man for us. You are giving other regions their men. Yeah? The Yoruba man who declared, who wanted to create his own Oduduwa kingdom, eventually was released. Charged, he was acquitted. The Boko Haram insurgents who have perpetrated so much wickedness, so much insecurity in the land, so much killings and treasonable offenses. Of course, they were pardoned. Some of them were virtually enlisted into the force because they felt, you know how to use the AK-47. You know how to use the rifles. You already used to guns. Come and take over. But when it came to the Igbo man, okay, even before the Igbo man, the Southwest, when the militants from the Niger Delta came out and were destroying everything that had to do with a refinery, making sure oil business in Nigeria that was polluting their lands would not succeed or survive a day anymore. Federal government did what? They called them, settled them, pardoned them, and made some of their leaders, the guardians of our seas and our coastal lines, who will see to the full mobilization and full commencement and full business of oil in Nigeria. These guys are the ones overseeing all the oil businesses, both local and international, and they're earning their monies in highest currencies. But when it came to the Southeast, when it came to our demand that our dear brother, our maximum leader, Nnamdi Kanu, should be given his own freedom. If you've tried him and you didn't find him guilty, let him go like other regions. They said no. They're still holding him. Accusing of treasonable felony, saying he wanted to undermine the sovereignty of Nigeria. They're still holding him in the DSS camp. But here's the North now, because the North is now feeling the pinch of bad governance, because the North has realized that it's not business as usual. They will not be doing dollar pounds anymore. It's not easy to access the dollars for them anymore because Emilio Coin is there. Because before they could any amount of money can come out from the CBN, give it to that Alaji, give it to that man, give it to that man. And you will hear the next time anywhere you're passing, any market square, any place you care to pass, you'll go through, you'll be hearing dollar pounds. Suddenly the dollar pounds is no longer there. It's no longer available for most of them, which they are giving at a parallel. They are giving dollars at CBN rate at very low rate, and they give them out, go and sell in the black market. For any such transaction, the person who was giving such money becomes an instant millionaire. And so the North were seeing, they were in frenzy, happy. Yes, let's let the Nigerian Constitution be. Let it be. 1999 Constitution is the best. Come on, who is talking of constitutional change? Let it go. Let's give them a chance. Now they have realized, that giving Emilio Khan all the enablement to have manipulated this election was the highest tragedy that happened to the North. They are biting their fingers now. How could we have made this mistake? How could we have fallen for this cheap blackmail? How could this man has manipulated us? Today is there. How many Northerners are in his cabinet? Today is there. Who is the chief of army staff? Who is the chief of customs? Customs Controller General? Who is in charge of immigrations? Who is in charge of NMPC? Who is in charge of NEMASA? Who is in charge of MPA board? And the North suddenly realized that power had left them. Opportunities had left them. The highest level of corruption has left them. Manipulating every other situation in Nigeria, including the civilian, has left them. And it is now they are realizing something ought to be done about this constitution. We have to reduce the power of the presidency. We have to reduce the cost of governance. We have to give the branches with the regions a lot of power, so that they can check the excesses of the center. We have to do this. We have to, oh my God. Is it now you're realizing it? Is it a bit too late not? We feel you. Yeah, we know you feel it like every other person is feeling it. And so when the Nigerians were saying it, especially the Southeast, when our dear eminent brother Nnamdi Kanu was saying it, you guys were laughing at us, saying the Igbos are sounding like broken records. Why is Nnamdi Kanu sound like a broken record, saying all these things? Lies, fallacies. The constitution is still the best anywhere, well crafted, But today they are licking their wounds, and they have come up to say, we are ready. Let us change the constitution. We are ready for a constitutional change. We are ready for every amendment. We are ready. If Nigeria is ready, if everybody is ready, we are ready. But sorry guys, my fellow compatriots from the North, it's too late. It's too late now. Because we in Biafra have decided, we have long ago removed our minds from this so-called constitution. We have long time ago removed our minds from the issues of Nigeria, because we saw it coming. We saw it coming. Our leaders have told us about it. Nnamdi Kanu has talked about it. Nobody listened. Our able Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, has spoken, given a lot of thesis on this, spoken on this, and nobody listened. Suddenly now, the North is feeling the pinches. They are feeling the heat. And they now want to be part and parcel of a change, a constitutional amendment. That is really, it's laughable, really. Seriously, the issues that compass us in this country is a laughable one, even though very tragic, even though very painful. That people cannot eat 3 square meals a day. People cannot afford even loaf of bread. Families can no longer pay for NEPA because of the high tariffs. People cannot buy cooking gas anymore. How much is a kilo of gas? How will you use it? Can it boil even water for your children? Look at the high cost of fares. From here to the east, if you're not driving your own personal car now, you're paying close to 50,000. From here, if you want to move from Lagos, you want to move from Abuja down to Onitsha, you're paying close to 60,000. I mean, where are we headed? What has befallen Nigeria? Who did this to us? Who did this to Nigeria? Who cost us as a country? So it's really very, very painful to me. And when I saw those headlines that the North were ready for a constitutional change, an amendment, I said to myself, so finally, the scales have fallen off their eyes. Finally, they have seen reason. Finally, because they are not enjoying the largest of politics. They are not enjoying the dividends of having a northern leader there. They have suddenly realized that what the East was saying all this while, what the Biafrans were saying all this while, was plain truth. Plain truth. Nnamdi Kanu warned them. Don't expect too much. This is going to happen. Nigeria is headed downstream. Nigeria is headed for the fall, a colossal fall. It has happened. Families have been disintegrated. Husbands and wives and children can't stay together anymore. Who will feed them? You talk of minimum wage or no minimum wage. It cannot afford you anything now. So where are we headed? The so-called Milocon, all his policies have been very draconic for Nigerians, have led to immense hardship and difficulty. People cannot, even water is expensive now. House rents, people have been thrown out of their houses every other day because they're not paying their rent. The government policies have become lackluster, clueless, and headed for nowhere, no direction. Every other day, we are at comatose, we are at roundabout. 3 steps forward, 15 steps backwards, 2 steps forward, 20 steps backwards. That has become the story of Nigeria. And so, my dear fellow Biafrans, I think it's a welcome idea that suddenly the North is feeling it. This is what we felt all this while. When we said we have been marginalized, they were laughing at us. When we said we have been made to see when you say your eyes are seeing your back, we have been made to see our back. We have gone through all level of wickedness and servitude in this country. They were laughing at us. Now the chiefs are down. Just a few years, 1-2 years that we don't have a northern anymore as a head of state, and they're already shaking, they're already trembling, they're already clamoring for constitutional change. But it's too late. It's too late. Our clamor is for the United States of Biafra. Our hope is for Biafra. We are looking forward to December 2nd, 2024, when the United States of Biafra will be fully inaugurated. And so I encourage everybody, I keep saying it, let us give our brother, who the mantle of leadership has fallen on his young shoulders, Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, let us give him every encouragement. Let us motivate him. Let us stand up in high places and shout his name to the glory of this United States of Biafra. I tell you all, our Lord is not sleeping. This is the best time for Biafra. The permutations, the regions are feeling it. Everybody in this country is feeling the heat. Everybody is experiencing the harshest form of bad governance. And we know definitely that Biafra is the solution for us. Biafra is the answer for us. United States of Biafra would bring up policies that will be people friendly, policies that will encourage agriculture and food production, policies that will checkmate kidnapping, insecurity, and brigandry in the country. Because of course, in Biafra land, there will be zero tolerance for corruption, for nepotism, for tribalism, for religious intolerance. There will be zero tolerance for economic misdemeanor, like we are getting it now. Biafra is our solution, and so we look forward to, like I said, December 2nd, 2024, when things are going to brighten up, when things will be fully inaugurated, and the Biafran man, every lover of peace, every lover of Biafra will come into complete supreme sovereignty. That's what we're all looking forward. I mean, every other day, I'm counting the hours now. I'm counting my days, because already we're in the Ember months. Yeah, this is the month of September. September, October, November, and here we are. So I think every Biafran should be expectant. We should have great expectations in our mind. And of course, we know this is our chance, and it's going to happen. Let us say no to anybody who calls us to come for any constitutional change. No for anybody who is realizing too late that, of course, what we have been saying all this while, what the Biafrans have been saying all this while, clamoring for a change, coming in for constitutional review, saying we should look back at the Oputa panel that was supposed to right all the wrongs, that was supposed to create an enabling environment for a sovereign state of Nigeria, united sovereign states. Unfortunately, that Oputa panel and its reports were cast into the annals of the archives of history. Nobody's thinking about it anymore. The North, yes, I've heard you, we've heard you, you're ready for a constitutional change, but sorry, it's a no-no for us. It's too late. Biafra is our own answer now. Biafra is our solution. We have gone too far to go backwards. The die is already cast. There's no going back. My dear Biafrans, I wish you all well. I wish you the best of the Ember months, and I pray we will work assiduously for the actualization of the United States of Biafra come December 2nd, 2024. God bless you all. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, Biafra, Biafra. Yeah, Superstar Media. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the motherland. Tell me about Biafra. I wanna know. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the motherland. Tell me about Biafra, Biafra. I wanna know. We going back to the land. We going back to the motherland. Biafra, Biafra. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the land. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the motherland. Tell me about Biafra, Biafra. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the land.